So this video is not intended to be a pro-Trump video, okay? Although I did vote for Trump 3 times because he was the best president, um, or not, he was the best option we had in those 3 elections, in my opinion. And I think he's doing a pretty good job. But don't let that discourage you from watching this video if you don't support Trump or whatever, because it's really not about Trump. It's about the reactions people have towards him. And I'm only using him as an example because it's fresh. And you can look around and see it right now, as opposed to an example I could use, say, like the witch hunts, which happened 500-600 years ago, or whatever, or Nazis coming to power, stuff like that. That's long gone. So you can use this as an example about people's reactions and about an emotional, neurotic obsession, right? Which Trump likes to call Trump deranged syndrome, which really is, that's because it's about him. But it's really about something else called the emotional plague, right? Which is pretty well documented, something that Wilhelm Reich came up with. It's about a neurotic, irrational hatred towards a group of people or an individual or whatever that makes people who are normally seemingly intelligent or well-adjusted act completely irrational and lose their shit for no real reason that they can identify. Okay. Now with Trump, because it's happening right now, it's easy to point out these things. All right. Well, first off, you have people, intelligent people, people that seem emotionally well-adjusted, losing their fucking minds, like having this irrational hatred. I see memes all over Facebook that make no sense, that defy logic, that are being posted by people that I know, right? That just shows it's like, how can you just like put aside your critical thinking skills and just reiterate and promote stuff that is clearly easily not true, right? How can you skew facts and cherry pick things and distort them to try to paint a picture that's not accurate, right? By maybe a thread of truth. An example is, let's take the Epstein file thing, or the Epstein files. That, people are like posting like, Trump's a pedophile, he won't release the Epstein files. It's like, no. I mean, he could be. It's unlikely, but it's possible. But anybody with any logical thinking skills would say, okay, well, Epstein Island, lots of people went there. You don't see Clinton being attacked. He's probably, if anybody's probably a pedophile, it probably is Clinton. But I don't know that either. But what we do know is the Epstein Island, lots of people went there. Okay, lots of people. It was a hangout for the rich people, hangout where they go party, whatever. Okay, did people fuck kids there? Apparently they did, but not everybody did, and I'm sure it was a very small percentage of people. Okay, Trump's a rich man, he's a billionaire, he mingles with the rich. That's what people went to parties, celebrities, politicians, artists, okay, not just Trump. Now, why he won't release those to the public? Well, it's not because he's necessarily hiding something, and it's certainly not necessarily because he's a pedophile, right? Do you think that possibly because it could impede an investigation? It could jeopardize a whole criminal investigation. Same reason why cops, when they're doing an investigation, don't release details. They don't want to tip off the suspects. They don't want to give any clues to what evidence they have. Okay, and in Trump's case, because Epstein is associated with the fucking kids and stuff, if he were to release those files, right, and make everything public, not only would it jeopardize the investigation, but it would open up him to massive lawsuits because people, stupid people, are going to assume anybody's name that's mentioned in these files has to be a pedophile, which is clearly not true. I'm sure a very small percentage of people knew what was going on. Of all these hundreds of people, or even thousands, who knows how many, were actually attended this island at some point. All right? So I'm not saying that the man's guilty, and if he is guilty, I'd like to see him brought out of the White House and hung from a fucking tree. But to say he's a pedophile, and that's why he's not releasing the files, is what I'm trying to say. It's irrational, and it shows this weird hatred towards this guy. And it's like, he would get massively sued because releasing these files, people's names that were listed in there, everybody's going to assume, stupidly, that these people are guilty of being pedophiles. It would ruin people's careers, ruin people's lives, right? With no evidence other than their names having been mentioned in these files, right? Or the so-called list, or whatever it is, right? I mean, that's a very obvious reason. So you won't release the files because it would fuck up the investigation. It's a criminal investigation, and it would open up to massive lawsuits and would incriminate a lot of innocent people that are not guilty. Period. Same reasons cops don't do it. All right, unless they're looking for somebody and they need help. People. These memes are left and right about him being a pedophile. Let's look at another one. Somebody posted a meme that said like, "This is a guy I know in real life. A smart guy, cool guy, man. Hung out with him, drank with him. He did some of my tattoos, actually." He was posted this meme that says something to the effect of, if all MAGA men were replaced with immigrants, 76% of all violent crimes, or 76% of violent crimes would go away. Is basically what he was saying. Now think about that. If all MAGA men were replaced with immigrants, the violent crime rate would fall by 76%, is what he said. And he pointed to this 2019 FBI thing about how white men are responsible for 76% of violent crimes, which isn't even true. In that investigation, in that report, that's not even what it said. But that's what he was trying to use as facts to support what he said. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this logically. Okay, first off, all MAGA men are not violent criminals. Okay, number one. All right. So you can dismiss this almost off the get-go. 43% of people who supported or voted for Trump, or 43% of the Latino population voted for Trump. 49% of women voted for Trump. Okay, so to say that, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And that's also to assume that these immigrants, that these MAGA men are being replaced with, aren't going to commit violent crimes either. So to say that violent crimes would be reduced by 76% if all MAGA men were replaced by immigrants is asinine. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And it shows how irrational people are. And this guy's a smart guy. He's not dumb, right? And he doesn't exhibit any weird emotional or mental fucking characteristics that would make you think otherwise, right? But except for this Trump thing. The guy posts like 5 Trump memes a day, always slandering him, always make no sense almost. Some other chick said, I showed a picture of Trump like shaking Putin's hand, right, and with a smile on his face, and saying, "Look how he treats the villainous, horrible people. Look how he's treating him. Look how he's glorifying. Look how he's treating this Putin horrible villain." And obviously trying to suggest like Trump's a piece of shit, or they're best buddies. That doesn't make any sense either. What's he supposed to treat Putin, one of the most powerful leaders in the world, right, that he's going to have peace talks with? What's he supposed to do, spit in the guy's face? Boy, that'll go over well. If he treats him any less respectful than, say, he treats any other politician or president of any other country, Putin's going to be offended. It would undermine the peace talks, which potentially will save hundreds of thousands, possibly even millions of people's lives. And here's this person who's so fucking suffering from Trump deranged syndrome, this irrational hatred, that she's going to distort facts and paint this picture like Trump should be mean to Putin. And if he's not, that makes Trump a villain. It's stupid. It's irrational. Of course he's going to treat him with respect. He's there to have peace talks with him to save millions of lives, and all you can think about is, how can I defame Trump? How can I put him down and slander him and make him look worse? By saying that, because he didn't spit in Putin's face. And people are like, oh, he's sucking Putin's fucking dick. It's like, what? Because he's nice to the guy? He should be nice to the guy. Okay? He's trying to get the guy to do something that he probably doesn't want to do. Okay? He's trying to save millions of people's lives. What are you going to do? Be a dick? No, that's going to make him uneasy. It's going to make him uncomfortable, and he's going to want to leave and not talk to you. Why would you do that? Oh, but if he doesn't, then he's a fucking villain too, is what these haters are trying to say. It's irrational. And I could go on and on about these memes. They come non-stop. Let's see, like with Trump, what people have called him everything. There's been a massive amount of effort put into trying to destroy him and attack him, defame him, discredit him, kill him. He's went through 3 assassination attempts, right? And that's another funny thing, is now his haters like, oh, that was a fake. He didn't get shot in the ear. It was a blood capsule. It's like, okay, guys, tell that to the dude sitting behind him who got shot in the face and died. Go talk to his family and explain to them how you think that fucking is fake. Okay, there's a picture of the bullet coming towards him. Now, sure, that could be doctored. It's not, but it could be, all right? There's no way that's fake. Tell that to the sniper on the roof who got blasted by the Secret Service. Okay? Tell that to the people who got shot and lost their lives. to their families. Tell it to their families. Say, let's go explain to them how you think it's fucking fake because you're an idiot with an irrational hatred towards Trump, and you're gonna anything that you can use to try to defame this guy, you're gonna use. Okay, what they've called him a dictator, they've called him a pedophile, called him a fascist, called him a Nazi. What else? Rapist, liar, thief, embezzler. Just like it's a fucking witch hunt. Any possible thing they can use to try to attack this guy. And you have to ask why. What is the motive behind this, right? There's got to be a motive, right? There's got to be a reason for it. Well, I think the motive for most people who are engaged and suffering from this Trump deranged syndrome or the emotional plague, right? It's irrational, neurotic hatred to completely just throw out critical thinking and go all in on slandering and defaming somebody for no real reason that you can think of. Even promoting lies and try to defame somebody that you don't even know for reasons you can't explain. You're just repeating what you've heard, the worst things that you can hear from other people. You just repeat as facts. Okay, it's a witch hunt. That's how 9 million people lost their lives during the witch hunts by the same fucking emotional plague, the same Trump deranged syndrome. But this is probably, we'll call that something else, right? It's how the Nazis came to power. All right, it's a frivolent, built-up emotional hatred that can be directed without any rational thought towards a group of people or persons. Now, the motive is clear, okay, and it's been exposed. Just a couple weeks ago, the Department of Justice came out and exposed a lot of what was going on with Obama at the time was president, knew about this whole Russian voter meddling, that Russia was tampering with the voting things, which is a fact, right, according to this report. Obama, Hillary, the FBI, other people knew the facts about this, that this was true, but they weren't trying to do it in favor of Trump. But Obama, Hillary, FBI people, other politicians knew that this was a lie, but they not only promoted it, but they paid news media outlets, which is not only immoral, but it's illegal, to promote this fucking lie using campaign money from Hillary. So here you go. The motive, though, right? I mean, these people are dishonest criminals, and they're the one who are pointing at him, calling him a criminal, calling him this, calling him that. They're hypocrites. The real villains are them. And why would they do this? Because they don't want to lose power. It comes down to power and money. All right? When Trump got elected, they knew their days of fraud, of embezzling money, of lying, of keeping the rich rich. All right? They knew those days were coming to an end. And that's why they attempted to kill him 3 times, right? To imprison him, impeach him, anything, slander him, rapist, fascist, pedophile, anything they possibly can. And they use the media, paying the media at times, to promote these lies. All right? It's because the Department of Justice did exactly what Trump, not the Department of Justice, well, yeah, the DOJ did what Trump said he was going to do. He was going to expose fraud, expose unnecessary government expenditures, cut unnecessary government agencies. And that's what he did. And he's still doing it. He's recovered hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud just in the Social Security Department alone. Now, I might be a little off on the numbers here, but it's a massive amount of money. And just in Social Security numbers alone, hundreds of people that are dead, right? They're still getting paid money. It's an inside job. It's not like an outside job, somebody coming in and robbing the Social Security Department. Give me your money. No, that's not what happened. People on the inside are funneling money, dead people's checks, and putting it overseas or giving it to fraudulent organizations as grants and shit like that. Hundreds of billions of dollars have been recovered. And people are being exposed left and right. And who's being exposed? Obama was part of it. Hillary. The left, the people, the administration that was in power before Trump, basically. All right? The exact people, I do not know. So, I'm not trying to slander anybody here, but it's the administration, the people that were in power before Trump. These people, some of them are responsible, and the fact that Obama and Hillary, that administration, okay, were paying news media to promote lies that they knew were lies is a good indication that they're possibly responsible, or at least part of it and know about it. They should be held accountable. So there's your motive. That's why this starts, because people who were in power want to hold that money, want to hold that power, knew they were going to get exposed, knew they were going to get called out, knew their game was up, and knew that Trump cost people hundreds of billions of dollars. They lost. When I say they, the people responsible for doing these frauds lost hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay? They wanted to keep that money going. They lost it. Trump's responsible for it. There you go. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he's still doing it. And people are still being exposed. Stuff still comes out, and it is very transparent. You can go to the DOJ website and see exactly where they're recovering money from. Okay? And the reports that investigations that they've concluded what's going on, what they've released so far anyway. So there you go. This irrational hatred for Trump starts with starts with media outlets being paid by people who are committing fraud, lies, and who are actually really shitty people, are paying media to promote these lies and slanders, which somehow affects a certain group of people to become irrational and want to slander and defame Trump. It starts with the media, because people are spoon-fed this, and I guess there's a certain type of person that just believes this shit, or that is affected to the point where they can rise up this hatred, this irrational hatred that wasn't even for Trump. Now it is, to teach them to march in line. And that's what Hitler did to millions of people. Okay? And it's happening here in this country, but with Trump. Trump deranged syndrome, to slander and attack him without hardly any cause. Like, there's reasons to dislike the guy. He's not the most personable guy. I mean, I can see, he's kind of egotistical, he's kind of arrogant. I kind of like that about him, because he's not a politician. And that's another thing. They get him because he's not a politician. He's not going to play their games. Other politicians want to be politicians, want to stay politicians, want to stay with that money. Trump comes in independently wealthy. He's not a politician. He says, I'm here for the American people. And I believe he is. I 100% believe he is. He can't be bought. He's got money. You know, the dude is losing money by being president. All right. You know, avoided 3 assassination attempts. All right. Nearly went to jail. Is attacked left and right. Accused of being a rapist, a pedophile, dictator, fascist, Nazi. Oh, Nazi. That's another thing. When people call another person a Nazi, or a group of people Nazis, that's a last-ditch effort. Last-ditch effort to defame somebody. That's like the Nazis, really? Nazis were German nationalists during World War II in the 1940s. Okay? They're a political power in Germany. Okay? In the 1940s, almost 100 fucking years ago. And people are still calling people Nazis. Okay? Come on. Really? Nazis are long extinct. Less, little pockets, maybe 1,000 or so in the United States. Ooh, that pose no threat to anybody really except themselves. All right, they're insignificant, inconsequential. And that's another thing. People, his detractors are like, the media will focus on these Nazi groups, right, which are insignificant. And they'll say, look, all of them support Trump. Okay, well, guess what? The Nazis like white people. And if it wasn't Trump, if it was Biden, they'd all support Biden probably, because he's white. Okay, I mean, by saying that, the media focuses on this insignificant group to try to pretend like Trump is affiliated with Nazis, or Trump's policies are in a line with Nazis. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means these fucking redneck fucking Nazi KKK people, this little small group of insignificant people that hold no power, no voting power, especially, support Trump. That doesn't make Trump a Nazi. That's what I'm saying. These people who promote these lies and bullshit are irrational, and they will stop at nothing, even distort facts, create lies using a thread of truth, and hopefully you buy it. And some people are stupid and do. That's it. There's my rant. And again, this isn't so much about Trump. This is an example using Trump because you can see it for yourself. I mean, you can look around and see it. Now, hopefully, when you watch these media, when you listen and you hear these fucking things, you'll see it. It runs rampant on social media. It's like, I'm going to have to start blocking people left and right on Facebook because I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing the memes. Because then I feel obligated to go and point out truth. And then I have to fucking sit there and defend truth. And you know what? As much as I like to defend truth, I got other shit I have to do. And it's getting to be, it's so much, it's overwhelming. And it's like, wow, if you want to believe that Trump's a fucking evil villain for being respectful and nice to Putin, who's his guest to try to save millions of lives in peace talks, then you're just a fucking fool. Okay? Who am I to prove that to you? Right? Or anybody else. Okay? Anybody with any rational, critical thinking skills can put this together. But it's gotten so overwhelming. I've never seen it in my life. I've never seen this happen on such a wide scale in my life towards anybody. No politician has been treated like this. Why? I just told you why. Because he's exposing and pointing out fraud, and he's costing people hundreds of billions of dollars who are guilty, eliminating massive amounts of jobs that are necessary. He's recovering money, a lot of it, and he's going to expose a lot of people, and he is. The same people that create these lies, promote them, that infected large amounts of other people. There you go. If you're infected with the Trump deranged syndrome, go to the doctor because you're sick. But there you go. Again, this isn't a pro-Trump video, but this is a great example of how this emotional plague works, or as Trump likes to call it, Trump deranged syndrome. There's a motive. You can see it. It's very clear. Think.